committed murders or violent crimes in our city are held accountable. And I'll turn over to the mayor for the details on this specific incident.
Thank you, Colonel. Okay. So around midnight, 12:05 Saturday morning, we were called, or Cranston Police actually were called to Hathaway Street, reported by someone in the neighborhood that they had heard shots fired, a car speeding away. Cranston arrived first. Actually, they were called, and they discovered a vehicle with two bodies inside. It was determined that it was in Providence, so we came on the scene a short time later. It took that scene over. There's really not much to give you right now. There was a male and female. They were in a relationship. They were both pronounced dead at the scene. They had both been shot. We are working that. As far as any details, there's not really much I can give you right now, but just to you know that we are on top of it and we're making progress. And we'll take questions.
The four children are theirs?
Yeah.
Well, yes, they between them, like the colonel said, they have 4 children. So I think, and what we believe is they have 2 of the 4 in common.
And
married
can you
couple?
say their ages? Do you know their ages?
20
6, 1 and 1.
I'm sorry.
12, 6, and 1.
12, 6, and 1, so are there twins?
The 1-year-old, right? The twins, okay. So
And how old are the victims?
29, the female is 30, the male is 29. Lindsay will give you the names after.
Okay.
Okay.
Were they married?
We're not sure on that. We know they're in a relationship.
Any idea as to a motive or what could have caused this?
Well, we're looking into it now. We do have suspects fleeing the scene. So, you know, that's part of the investigation.
How many suspects?
We're not sure yet.
Were there narcotics or any firearms present?
There were narcotics present, but we don't know or believe it had anything to do with the, or if it had anything to do with the shooting, we're not sure.
Are you
Does
still
the
waiting your
couple have a
toxicology
criminal
reports?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Does the couple have a criminal history? Do you know if they've been related in incidents before?
Yeah, so
I don't know.
we've had some contact with the male. I'm not gonna go into that because he's recently deceased, so, but we have had contact with him.
How many
long do
shots
you
were
think it
fired?
was?
Well, there's several shots. Exact number, we're not gonna put out.
And both of them were in the car, driver's seat, passenger seat?
That's correct.
Were they parked?
Yes.
And do you believe the assailants were in a vehicle? It was a drive-by situation, or?
Right now, we do not believe it was drive-by. So,
Do you
Did
believe
they
it was
live nearby?
targeted?
we believe it was targeted, definitely, yes.
Chief or Major, you know, there was this double homicide this weekend. There was the response to a shooting of an 18-year-old, and there were actually several guns taken off the street this weekend. So, as we're here at the end of October, obviously a lot of gun violence here in the city of Providence. And perhaps, Chief, you can start, you know, what are we seeing? Obviously, you've talked about this before. Providence police actually end up preventing more crimes with taking guns off the street. Are we seeing more guns on the street right now at the end of October 2023 than any point in this year?
So yeah, I mean, to that extent, it's not just Providence, it's nationwide that there's gun violence that has increased in major capital cities. Providence has seen a share of that. However, I will tell you this, and then you just mentioned it, the Providence Police Department is very active when it comes to seizing guns. Year to date, we're about 219 guns seized, about 170 or so with bodies attached to it, meaning someone was arrested for it. And so yeah, it's just unfortunate that people end up using violence with firearms. And when we go back and think about the ghost guns as well that are being created and manufactured around the country, where people can just get in front of a computer and order a firearm, that also increases problems for many communities around the country. And so, yeah, but I mean, all I can tell you is that I commend the work of the detective division. Like I stated earlier, they do along with partners that we have, do their work to ensure that people that are committing these violent crimes and these murders in the city are, in our city, a beautiful city, are held accountable.
Colonel, you opened this talking about extending your condolences here. I can't think of another incident in recent years where you've had 4 children left without parents.
It's unfortunate. I've always said it that one of the major units in someone's life is family structure. And you're right, it's unfortunate. I mean, we have a lot of teenagers in the city, and to find out that we have 4 children now that have to grow up without a parent, it's hard. And you're right, Steve, it's something that is concerning. But again, we have a lot of different organizations that we work with, including family services and different victim advocates, to ensure that the family and the children receive the attention and the resources they need.
Do they have other family, do you know? Or-
Correct, they do, yes. They are actually, from what I heard, is they're with the one of the victims' mom. That's
Are
what
the
they
2 victims Providence residents?
No, they're not.
Where are they
But
from?
we had heard they're from Pawtucket.
From Pawtucket.
Anything that shows this could be gang related, I saw some chatter about that.
Yeah. Again, this is the beginning of the investigation. There's a lot of that's being worked, that's being done. Just to tell you, again, I commend the work of detectives. So we're trying to gather all that. This is just the beginning stages of this homicide investigation. But I'm pretty confident that our detective unit will do the work that they need to ensure that people are held accountable for those actions.
Do you have any description of the suspects that you're looking for that you're putting out right now?
No,
Okay.
Do you know if they're from the area?
no.
Major, how were they sitting in the car? Who was the driver, male or?
The male was driving.
Male was driving.
Female was in the passenger seat.
Could you touch on the nature of this? It almost, whoever carried this out, it almost seemed like it was professionally done, so to speak. Almost, this wasn't like a spray of bullets. This seems more, but like execution style. Does that seem almost like a mob hit the way we'd hear about it?
Yeah, so like I said.
Someone drawn to a
yes.
location and then.
I understand the question, yeah, John, but it's way too early in the investigation, and we're not gonna put something like that out anyway. But, we wanted to, as we always do when we have murders committed in the city, we wanted to, just let everyone know, in the city, number 1, it's not targeted. Number 2 is that we're working on it, and then, exactly, what happened where, and that's basically, why you're here today.
I'm just curious, the driver, was his phone still in the vehicle? Or was it?
No, we do not have a phone.
Chief, there are those who will conflate this event, this tragedy, with an attempt to make Providence look like a more dangerous city than it probably is by many accounts. Is the safety in the city of Providence any different than any other major city in America?
No, I think, and it's not to praise myself in the back or the work that the men and women in this job do. It's a safe city, and it is unfortunate that we have incidents like this. It's unfortunate. But when you look around the nation, you look at major cities, Miami, Chicago, New York, they're going through some of the same incidents and some of the violent crime that is increased in their cities. And so we've seen the same thing in the city, but unfortunately, these are, like the major just stated, this was a targeted case. And so we'll continue to police the city in a professional manner, constitutional manner, and I'll tell you, we'll continue to make sure we do everything to ensure that criminals that want to commit murders and violent crime in our city are held accountable.
El mismo mensaje en español que la gente quiere saber, estamos seguros.
Sí, verdaderamente la ciudad de Providence es una ciudad que es segura. Los mismos incidentes han pasado en ciudades grandes como Chicago, Miami, Nueva York, pero verdaderamente el trabajo de la policía de Providence, lo que es los hombres y las mujeres que trabajan en este departamento, hacen un buen trabajo. Desafortunadamente son incidentes que pasan y tenemos que verdaderamente seguir los criminales que están cometiendo muertes y acciones violentas en esta ciudad. El departamento de los detectives tienen que saber que vamos a ir detrás de ellos.
Can either of you
Patrick,
speak to,
All right, guys, this is it. We're
can
gonna
either
get
of
after
you
this.
speak to the vandalism at
Oh,
Farm
yeah.
Fresh over the weekend?
The
Yeah,
vandalism
so-
was not over the weekend, correct?
Yeah, it was last week.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So we've been looking at video and trying to identify suspects. And as you could see, spray painting on the windows and some leaflets that were either pasted on or taped onto the doors. We haven't had any incidents since to speak about, but we are, as we reached out for help, because we're at a dead end with that, and, you know, we take that serious. And so, like I said, the public can help us out, we'd appreciate it.
Okay.
One more
is-
question about the.
How
the
concerning
double.
is
Steph, I
this?
have all that, you're good. I
Just
do
one more
all
question about the double. The driver known to police, how would you, is there a relationship that he had with police?
Well, when I say known, I mean, we've had dealings with them in the past. Could be 1, could be 10. We're not saying, but.
Now, your one clarification when it comes to the vandalism, security video shows it happened between 2 and 3 AM. The press release says just after noon.
The press release is,
No, it
no, it's
doesn't.
3
It
a.m.
says, it's at, it's right,
It's in the dark, right?
at, like,
It was
right
in-
before 2 AM
yeah.
is what I wrote.
It was in the middle of the night, yeah.
It was the middle of the night.
Yeah.
so
No, it's
the
military.
And how concerning is this?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll answer that, Steve. Concern is concerning like anything else in the city. Any crimes that are committed in the city, we take priority on, obviously, and just from the patrol division, that's the mission of the department, to ensure that the quality of life of everyone is one that is positive. So it is, but we'll continue to investigate it, and then at some point, we'll be able to bring people charged.
All right.
Treating it as
Thank
an
you guys,
anti-Semitic
we're
incident.
good.
I'm sorry?
You're treating this as an anti-Semitic incident?
Yes, when people tag buildings in our city with anti-Semitic sentiments, and we're gonna treat it just as such. And so we wanna make sure that, that we hold people accountable for those actions, and they're investigating it. It's not something that's forgotten or we put somewhere, we continue to investigate
Is
it.
As
there
a
a
hate
connection
crime.
between the folks at Farm Fresh? Are they Jewish? Do they have a connection to
We're,
Israel?
we're looking into all that stuff to make sure, okay?
These two from Friday night, what's the total make that for the year?
13.
13.
13.
Do you have
Okay,
any
thank you
information on the
guys.
stabbing?
Not right now, Jordan, let's just.
Yeah, let's move, let's follow.
No, I didn't.
Thank you.
12 and 13. Lindsay, we need the names.
Yeah.
Los nombres. Hola, amiga.
She's got the names.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Bien, bien.
Not getting in the news.